Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Please, if you're joining us for the first time, click on your notification button, subscribe to our YouTube channel. So today we are going to be making what we call Ayaraya. This delicacy is popularly known in the eastern part of Nigeria, Enugu State. Enugu is to be precise. So today we are going to be making this Ayaraya with beans, yam, and other seasoning. So you pick your beans, you parboil them, and then you make sure that you wash the beans and then put it back in the pot so that it can cook very well. Now this beans takes a lot of time to cook, so if you have a pressure pot it will be a lot easier for you. But if you don't have and you have charcoal pots available to use your charcoal. If not, you can use your gas. This beans takes a lot of time, so you have to be very patient. So if you want to make this food, you want to eat this food like 6 p.m, 7 p.m, make sure to start making this food by 4 p.m, so that you finish up on time. So here we already washed the parboiled beans and it's back into the pot. We are going to allow this to cook until it is soft. So while we are waiting for it to cook and soften, we are going to cut our yam into small sizes. You can do big sizes, depend on the size that you want. So long as it's going to be soft after cooking it, you can cut to any size that you like. But I'm going to cut it into this size that I'm going to use. You see it on your screen. So when you're making this food, you have to be patient. It is not too hard. The only difficult thing is cooking the beans, because the beans takes a lot of time. So aside from the beans, this food is very easy to make. Yeah, the beans is very easy to make. So you peel your yam and you cut your yam into smaller sizes, depend on the size that you want to use. So guys, please, I need you to subscribe to my channel, like, share, comment, and then turn on your notification button so that you can be notified when we upload a new content or a new video. Please engage on this post, on this video. Tell me what you think, tell me what we need to improve on. Okay, thank you. So now back to what we are cooking. So we are done cutting our yam and washing them, and we are putting it back into the pot to cook. Note that this beans is almost soft. That's when we are adding this yam. So you add your yam and you cover it to cook. You may need to cook this yam for like 15-20 minutes, depend on the fire you're using to make your food. So just make sure you arrange the yam very well into the pot so that it can cook. Then you cover up your pot and then you allow. So here we're already prepping our onions. Okay, so I didn't show where we prepped our pepper, but I already prepped my pepper. So here the yam, the beans is ready for. So now I'm putting the yam into the pot, into the mortar. Sorry, we are going to be pounding this yam. Yes, note, you can use your knife. If you don't have mortar available to you, you can use knife. Now if you're using knife, you have to be very patient, because you're going to be cutting it in small chunks. Maybe next time I'm going to make a video of how to use knife when you don't have mortar available to you. So we are going to mash this thing. Not when you're making this ayarayaji, you're not going to pound this yam the way you pounded yam. No, you don't do it like that. You're just going to mash it so that it into pieces. Yes, it's not going to be like your normal pounded yam swallow, no. So you are going to pound it to this texture. This is the texture that we want to use. If you can see, you see that we just mashed it so that it is not in big chunks. So you are going to repeat, you are going to do this. It depends on the quantity of yam that you are using. If you are using much, you know that you have to be patient. You are going to pound it batch by batch. So yeah, we are going to repeat this process until we are done with all the yam. Yes, I'm going to be doing this batch by batch. Unless you have a bigger mortar that can take all of the yam at once, then you can now pound your yam at once. But here I have a smaller mortar, so I'm just going to do this batch by batch. So you repeat this process until all your yam is mashed. Yeah. So we are done pounding our yam, and then you need to sieve your
inside the pot
your
only.
beans because we need to sieve out the water. We are not going to use water. So you put your pot into the fire. No, I changed the pot because the other pot I used was smaller, so I need a bigger pot for this. You put your oil. Now you need to be a little bit generous with your oil, not so much, just moderate, but at least something that is okay for the food, because this food needs oil, not so much, just moderate. Then you're going to add your onions to the pot. You're going to stir it for a while. You allow it to cook for a bit, for a few minutes. But you're going to be stirring it, yeah, like you're seeing in this video. You stir, you stir, you stir. Yes. So after this, we are going to be adding our pepper into the pot. Now this pepper is small. It depends on how spicy you like your food. For me, when I'm making this food, I like it to be spicy. So I'm adding a dry grounded pepper into the pot, and then I'm going to turn this for a while before I add my apaka. Please, I don't know the English name. So after adding my pepper, I'm going to add my seasoning cube and my salt. Now you can use any seasoning cube of your choice. It depends. Some people don't like to use seasoning cube when making this food. They just use salt only. But I like to use seasoning cube. It depends on what you want. It can be seasoning powder, it can be cubes, anyone that you like. But make sure it's moderate. When you're making this food, make sure you know the quantity of seasoning that you're using and the quantity of salt that you're using, because after making this sauce and adding your beans and yam, you can no longer add anything to this food again, unless you want to start making another sauce from scratch. So here I'm adding my akpaka already. After adding the alpaca, you stir for a while. You still have to stir so that everything can marry themselves together.
Ready.
You see, you now start adding your beans. You add your beans. You're not going to add all of them at once. You add the quantity that you feel is okay. Then you can now start adding your yam to the pot. Yes. See the way I'm doing it, that's how you're going to do it. Yes. You add your yam, and then the remaining beans you pour it into the pot. Yeah. And then you're now going to, by then you've removed this pot from fire. Yes, you're going to put this pot down, add all these things and start turning, because you're going to mix this until the the sauce is mixed together very well with the beans and the mashed yam. So you're going to mix this very well so that you don't have salt or seasoning one side and then have your yam or whatever one side. You have to mix them together, mix it very well. You can see how delicious this food is looking. I'm telling you, this is 10 over 10 minus nothing. You need to try this food. This food is nice. So here our food is ready. Please and please like, subscribe to our channel. Please help us to grow. Let's grow together. Thank